Good morning, everyone. So here we are on Wednesday, and today is the feast of Saint Teresa of Avila. She was a Carmelite nun who lived during times when the Carmelites were an interesting order at the time. You'd become a nun, join the order, but you could actually live your life as you wanted. You could come and go, you could own things, you could eat whatever you wanted to and socialize. It was kind of, it was a very lackadaisical approach. And St. Teresa tried to tighten it up and sort of say, well, we need to be more austere about it, we need to be more serious about it and focus on what our true vocation is. So she was responsible for establishing not so much a breakaway, but in fact a sector, if you like, of the Carmelite order who were concerned about the serious elements or the serious side of what they had committed themselves to. So she was quite a serious-minded lady, and one can see that she was quite fiery. This is seen in a little anecdote, which I quite like about. And with anecdotes, you don't know if they're built on truth or half-truth. It's a nice little story. Apparently, she was crossing a river on a horse, and the horse threw her off, and she landed in the river, absolutely drenched to the skin. Stood up in the river, looked up to heaven, and said, "If this is how you treat your friends, no wonder you have so few of them." And so talking to God, this is how you treat your friends. We sometimes might feel that way, that because we're actually doing the will of the Lord, because we are following the way of Christianity, that everything is going to work out perfectly. And it doesn't always happen that way. We do find ourselves sometimes thrown into a river, and sometimes that might not be pleasing to us. I think this sometimes comes through when I see people who are grieving, and there's sometimes an anger that is there. Why did God let this happen? We relate to this. Well, that's a natural phase that we go through, if you like, in the process of grieving. And it's important that we acknowledge that and don't see it as a weakness. And if we feel that we need to shout to God or shout at God, then do it. Because we're not rejecting God, we are simply saying, I don't understand what it's all about. Jesus knows that. Jesus was a human being. That's one of the great joys of the fact that our Savior was a human being like us, that he can relate to those things. And if we feel angry, shout to the Lord. Give it to him. Give our anger to him. And he will walk the journey with us because he understands whatever difficulties we might have, that we need to just give them to the Lord and he'll help us to cope with them. Have a wonderful day. Keep yourself safe. God bless. Bye-bye.